Slasher movies is one of my favorite subgenres in horror, but when you think of slashers, who do you usually think of? Do you think of some of the old school slashers like Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Freddy Krueger? Or do you think about some of the new age slashers like Art the Clown? In today's video, I'm going to be going over some of my favorite slashers and why these characters are either better or their movies are better than most other slashers. Starting with one of the new age slashers, we have Art the Clown. Now, if you know nothing about the Terrifier franchise or Art the Clown himself, then you probably have no idea that he is the most sick and twisted slasher we have ever seen. The scenes that happen in these Terrifier movies are quite literally some of the most insane things I've ever seen. For instance, the bedroom scene in Terrifier 2. Art the Clown chases someone down into their bedroom, slices them up, and then pours salt on them while they're still alive, and genuinely enjoys it. I think that's one of the main reasons why I love Art the Clown as a slasher, is because there's no motive, there's no reason, there's no nothing. And for some reason, the fact that he's also kind of like a mime, where he doesn't talk, and all he does is smile when he's killing. It's genuinely crazy. Now, I'm a massive nerd, so I've seen Art the Clown in other movies other than Terrifier up until this Terrifier point. He's been in movies like Circle 9 in 2008, which was a short film where he pretty much follows a woman to an abandoned train station and does what Art the Clown does. The second time we see him is in a Terrifier short film, which is pretty much based off of the Terrifier movie. Then we have Art the Clown's first feature-length film, All Hallows Eve, released in 2013, which is an anthology series, putting together both short films of Circle 9 and the first Terrifier short. Now, do we know what Art the Clown is? No. Some people think he's a demon, some people think he's just a person that is able to pretty much reincarnate himself through the young girl that he killed, which we all call the Clown Girl. As I've said before, though, he has absolutely no motive and just genuinely enjoys to kill, which I think is a very insane premise. I also needed to add in the fact that some people also speculate that he may have been a surgeon at some point in his life, due to the fact that he loves to see how far he can push the human body with being tortured. Like I said, the bedroom scene in Terrifier 2, he's genuinely seeing how far he can keep this girl alive after cutting her up and then pouring salt all over. That's the only reason he's doing it. You also see a ton of things that happen throughout the other movies where he's using these scalpels and he's using these weapons in ways that only a surgeon would use. I feel like that definitely gives us a little bit more of a boost in him being a surgeon, or at least going to medical school at that, because of the way he uses and how precise he is with these knives and these syringes and the way that he uses all these different weapons. He just genuinely knows what he's doing. He's not just aimlessly killing using a giant weapon. He's using real life normal things that people use, especially surgeons. So I genuinely think the argument that he may have been a surgeon in a past life, or at least went to medical school at that, definitely has a little bit of validity in knowing if Art the Clown could have been that before. He obviously became a torturous, pretty much immortal clown that unalives people just for fun. You then have Jason Voorhees, the king of slashers, the strongest horror movie character we have ever seen. The amount of verses I have done having to do with Jason Voorhees versus this character, Jason Voorhees versus that character, all in all, Jason Voorhees is the strongest horror movie slasher we have ever seen. Seems as though he is immortal. He comes back to life in every movie. It doesn't matter how long you think he was dead for. It genuinely doesn't matter. You think you can drown him, you can't. There's just multiple reasons of why Jason Voorhees is genuinely that strong. He also has inhuman strength. He also has murderous intent. He's just genuinely that scary of a character. I've also heard people talk about the remakes, and Jason Voorhees in the remakes is genuinely terrifying. The fact that he can sprint in the remakes is crazy. He's also a master hunter. He lives in the mountains. He's killing people with bow and arrows. Jason Voorhees is really that guy. Now, as I said, I've done a ton of verses. If you were to put Jason Voorhees up against any horror movie character besides maybe Pinhead, and that's only because if he opens the box, he's just going to be trapped in hell, but he's not actually going to die. If Jason Voorhees goes one-on-one against any horror movie character, he's winning. Now, people will definitely say, well, Chris, he definitely didn't beat Freddy Krueger because at the end of Freddy vs. Jason, Freddy blinks. But you also have to understand that Freddy was immensely buffed for that whole entire movie, and you could tell that Jason was downgraded in that movie. I'm telling you right now, there is no reason that movie should have been so close, because real-world Jason versus real-world Freddy, there's not even a comparison. Yes, Freddy did blink, so technically he didn't die, he was still alive, but I think they were opening it up for a part 2, but then that just never happened. There was also kind of some talk about there being a Pinhead added into this movie, which didn't end up happening, as we know, but genuinely Jason Voorhees is that guy. He is the strongest slasher we have ever seen in any horror movie. You then have Ghostface. Now, some of you are probably going to be looking at this list like, Chris, you have Ghostface on this list? Why? Because I love Scream. Scream is probably one of my favorite horror movie franchises all in all, just because it's one of my comfort horror movies. If I'm feeling down, if I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, I just throw on a Scream movie, any of them, preferably 1 or 6 or 4 or 3, not really 2, don't really care for 5 either, but all in all, I just genuinely enjoy watching these movies, probably because I know what's going to happen, but I just enjoy the storyline and the plot. Now, I think the craziest part about the Scream franchise is that it is loosely based on real crimes, at least the first one. The first Scream was loosely inspired by Daniel Roland, who went on a murder spree in the 1990s, giving himself the name the Gainesville Ripper. He pretty much killed a bunch of people school at the University of Florida. That's pretty much what the Scream movies are based on. Obviously, that's not the reason that I like it. The reason that I like it, as I said, is because I just love the franchise itself, and I genuinely think it's because I know what's going to happen every time. I know Ghostface. I know what he's going to do. I know what this person's going to do. I know what that's going to do. And it's very predictable, but I think that's one of the main reasons why I love it. Now, I'm also not going to sit here and say that I think Ghostface is one of the strongest horror movie characters. I just genuinely love Ghostface as a character. Now, I just want to preface to say I have a lot of favorite slashers because there's just so many reasons on why I love different characters. So if this video does well, I will definitely be making a part 2 going over some more characters like Jeepers Creepers, Freddy Krueger. There's a lot of crazy slashers. Now, for the people that are going to say, well, you have Ghostface on this list, he's not strong, whatever, I know. I'm just going off of my favorite slashers in general. If we were going off of power and we were to rank power, 1, Jason Voorhees, 2, Art the Clown, at least from this list. So if you guys want to see a part 2, definitely like this video, comment down below what other videos you guys want to see on the channel, and let me know if you guys like the new style, just because I wanted to change it up a little bit. But with all of that being said, guys, my name is Chris, and of course, I will catch you guys on the next one.